Welcome, everyone. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to demystify the entire world of cybersecurity. We'll break down what it really is, why it's so incredibly critical today, and get to know the people who are out there on the digital front lines protecting us all. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with what cybersecurity actually is. Then, we'll dive into its core principles. After that, we'll explore why it matters so much, take a look at the digital battlefield and the common threats out there, and wrap up by meeting some of the people who've made a career on the front lines. So let's start with a basic question. When you hear the word cybersecurity, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's probably an image that looks something like this. Yeah, the hooded figure, right? Hunched over a laptop in a dark room. It's the classic go-to image for a hacker. But the reality is, cybersecurity is so much more than just defending against this one stereotype. When you strip it all down, cybersecurity is really this massive, sprawling field dedicated to protecting our entire digital world. We're talking about everything from the photos on your phone and your personal emails to the gigantic servers that run our banks and even the most critical government services. Okay, so how do professionals even begin to tackle such a huge task? You can't just protect everything at once without some kind of strategy. Well, it all starts with a foundational model, a framework that really guides the entire industry. And here it is. This is known as the CIA triad. And no, before you ask, it has absolutely nothing to do with the intelligence agency. It actually stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Think of it as the fundamental rulebook for the entire field. Let's dig into what each of those pillars really means. First up, we have confidentiality. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about privacy. It's about making sure that only the right people can see the right data. Basically, it's all about keeping secrets safe, whether that's your personal bank account details or a company's top secret new product design. Next up is integrity. This is all about trust. It ensures that your information is accurate, reliable, and hasn't been messed with by someone who shouldn't have access. When you check your bank balance, you have to be able to trust that it's the correct balance and it hasn't been secretly changed. That right there, that's integrity. And finally, we have availability. This one sounds simple, but it is absolutely crucial. It just means that the systems and the data have to be working and accessible to the people who are authorized to use them whenever they need them. I mean, what good is your money if the bank system is down and you can't get to it? That's a failure of availability. So making sure this triad, confidentiality, integrity, and availability is always upheld, well, it's not just some technical puzzle. The real-world stakes are incredibly high, and they touch almost every single part of our modern lives. And the scope here is just massive. We're talking about protecting our most sensitive personal information, our finances, our privacy, and really, the fundamental trust we put into the digital systems we rely on every single day. Just think about it. A single breach can lead to identity theft if your health records get out. It can cause devastating financial losses for a company hit by ransomware. It can literally put a business under. And on a larger scale, it can even threaten critical national infrastructure, things like our power grids and our defense systems. So with that in mind, let's step on to the digital battlefield and take a look at the kinds of threats that cybersecurity professionals are up against every day. Attackers have this huge, diverse toolkit they can use against us. There are tons of different attack vectors out there, but let's just zoom in on 3 of the most common threats you're likely to hear about. First, there's malware. It's short for malicious software, and it's basically a catch-all term for any piece of code, from viruses and worms to that nasty ransomware you hear about that's designed to cause harm the second it lands on your device. Then you have phishing. This is less about code and more about psychology. It's a form of social manipulation. Those emails that look like they're from your bank or maybe your HR department, but they feel just a little bit off? They're designed to look real, to trick you into giving away your passwords or credit card numbers. And let's talk about a denial of service or DOS attack. The easiest way to think about this is like creating a massive digital traffic jam. An attacker just floods a website or an online service with so much junk traffic that the system gets overwhelmed, it crashes, and it becomes totally unavailable for anyone who actually needs to use it. So who are the people fighting back against all of these threats? Well, the field is absolutely packed with diverse and really fascinating career paths. These are the guardians of our digital world. Okay, let's look at just 3 of these key roles. You have cybersecurity analysts. They're the watchers, constantly monitoring networks for any sign of trouble. Then you've got penetration testers, who are basically professional ethical hackers trying to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do. And then you have incident responders. They're the digital first responders, the team that manages the crisis after a breach has already happened. Let's take a closer look at penetration testers, just because their job is so cool. They're often called ethical hackers. Companies literally pay them to think like a criminal and try to break into their own systems. But it's all for a good cause. The goal is to find the security holes first so they can be patched up and fixed.
And honestly, that is just scratching the surface. This field is enormous. There are roles like security architects who design secure systems from the ground up, digital forensic experts who are like crime scene investigators for cyber attacks, and cloud security specialists who are laser-focused on protecting all the data we store on services like Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure.
And all of this leaves us with one final big thought. As our world gets more and more connected every single second, and as it's built on this ever-growing mountain of digital information, the need for these digital guardians, for cybersecurity professionals, is only going to get bigger.